Welcome to the Uncanny Academy of X-Men lore. I'm your host, Jared.
And I'm Lad.
And so you may be wondering, what is this new show that's on the Comics League Network on YouTube? Well, this is going to be a podcast that we do like every Wednesday or so, whenever we can do it. I'll at least be able to do it. And it's going to be basically like our flagship show, Under Two Capes, which we put on the YouTube channel Friday, except it's going to be purely focused on the X-Men, because I feel like they're the one franchise at Marvel that they have their own world and lore to the point where you could just have a publishing house that just does X-Men comics.
Right.
They're like that detached. So I figured, plus I'm a big X-Men fan. So I figured, what the heck, let's do it. So let's start off. So we're gonna to tell you all how we got like into the X-Men franchise, how we heard about the team and such, or whatever comes to mind. Lad, you want to start?
So in terms of the X-Men, I'm thinking back when I first heard about these guys. When was it? Man, that must have been way back, because I mainly watched some DC stuff when I was a kid. So the first time I maybe encountered the X-Men honestly was probably from watching some of the live action movies with my parents, maybe like when I was a kid, and I kind of just followed along a little bit, heard about Wolverine. And once I started getting to Marvel a little bit more, I kind of watched X-Men. I remember that I think the first one I saw was X-Men First Class. I saw it like in bits and pieces. But the first time I actually went to the theater to actually go watch X-Men was with Days of Future Past. And that really blew my mind. That was
That's a
awesome
great movie. I love that.
Yeah. That was so I really enjoyed the X-Men. I thought it was really cool. It felt different than the MCU and most Marvel heroes. So
it was the first MCU.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so with me. All right, so my first exposure to the X-Men was the X-Men movie in 2000. I watched in 2000, but I'm just saying the movie from that time period. Yeah. So I am a child of the original trilogy, if you will, the OT.
Yeah.
I watched like the crap out of those movies because they were like unbelievably good. Even 3, I enjoy pretty much any superhero movie I see, unless it's like really bad, like Captain Marvel or Black Panther.
No,
but basically I was able to find some value in X-Men 3, X-Men 2, and X-Men 1. And once again, like Lad, I saw First Class, loved it. Days of Future Past blew my mind, because I had heard of the storyline. Granted, they changed like a lot from the storyline in order to like make it into a movie, but I knew the basic plot, so I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. I saw Apocalypse, which I thought was pretty dope.
Yes.
Dark Phoenix was amazing. I liked it. I know a lot of people hated it, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's not as good as the X-Men animated series, but that's besides the point. Now, in terms of the comics, full disclosure, I'm a hardcore DC fan. I've been DC forever. I have some Marvel books, but Lad can tell you, if you look at my bookshelf of comics, that's like right here, it's like DC, Marvel. Yeah. It's like a little Marvel. I recently expanded that. So what happened was, I'm a college student. I'm writing a paper on, I actually just completed the rough draft of a paper that's on like the politics in comic books. And obviously when you talk about politics in comic books, you have to bring up the X-Men at some point. I'll bring that up later on the episode. So I decided, screw it. I've always been really interested in the X-Men comic books, because I argue that most of the memorable, and my camera's probably going to turn off right now, but that's fine. Most of the memorable storylines from Marvel, yeah, I know, are X-Men storylines. Am I right about that, Lad?
Yeah, I think you're right.
House of M, Days of Future Past, exactly. But so that's why I've been really interested in the X-Men. So what I did was I logged on to Marvel Unlimited and just decided, because the way I use these streaming services, I go to them first when I'm in the market to buy a comic book, because I figure let me see if it's a good story first before I waste my money on it.
Yeah.
So I grab like random X-Men storylines from all over, all eras, and I was like, this is the greatest thing coming out of Marvel.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like, it's so good.
Yeah. X-Men is, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who's listened to Under Two Capes knows I'm very critical of Marvel. But I'm like, geez, this is so good.
Mm-hmm.
The heck? Why haven't I been reading these before? So the next time Lad and I went to our LCS, I just stocked up on X-Men books.
Oh, yes.
Which we'll be covering a lot of X-Men storylines in the
Jared got a lot
soon.
of new X-Men comic books, so I bet we'll have a lot of material to go through.
Yeah, we will. All right. So we got into how did you get into X-Men? So now my next question, Lad, favorite mutants. Let's go with 5. Top 5 mutants.
Ooh, top 5 mutants. Okay, so that's a good question. I mean, obviously, Wolverine's pretty cool person, so it's kind of hard not to put Wolverine on the list. All right, okay, but I'll put him just as number 5 for now. But Beast, I'm a big fan of Beast. I think Beast is a really cool. He's like the scientist dude, but he's also, he can fight. Iceman is fun.
Bobby Drake, baby.
Yep. Who else? I mean, I'll put Magneto on the list also. Magneto is really awesome. Metal, magnets. That's just too much fun. Okay, that's 3.
There you go. I'm back.
Oh, wait. No. Wolverine makes 4. So then a 5th one, final one. Favorite one. I'll put Professor X on the list. I'll go classic. Professor X is awesome. Psychic abilities are just insane.
Yeah, you got to go Professor X.
Yeah.
All right, so with me, number 1 is I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lad. Oh yeah, thank you. all right. Screw you, Lad. But anyway, my number 1 favorite mutant is Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
I know he gets like a rough bump because at the end of AVX he kills Professor Xavier and all that, but
oh, what?
Yeah, that's how the story ends.
In which one?
AVX, Avengers versus X-Men, because he becomes Dark Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah, we'll talk about that storyline definitely at some point. But I mean, he's a complicated character, and I think that he's a good leader. And what I mean by that is that he's led the X-Men, like, only no Professor X. He's led the X-Men through all of the really bad times of mutantdom, like House of M, Second Coming, which arguably turned into a good kind of. We'll talk about that storyline. So good. And number 2 is Wolverine, because you have to go with Wolverine at that point.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm going to go with a wild card. My 3rd favorite mutant is Emma Frost.
Emma Frost.
Now, you may know her from X-Men First Class. Exactly. She's the White Queen. She's the one who turns to diamonds and is a mutant and is a telepath. But she's actually gone through quite the little redemption arc in that. So she starts off when the Hellfire Club was first established, she was the bad guy. She was an X-Men antagonist. But she left Hellfire and joined the X-Men. She became a good guy. And then she and Scott have led the X-Men through again, so some of the worst times in mutant history.
Yeah.
I love me a good redemption arc. 4, I got to go with Jean Grey, because the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go with a being that is like infinitely powerful.
Yeah.
5 is Magneto.
Magneto. All right.
Because, and this is a plug for our Under Two Capes episode when we did the X-Men First Class. He is a really complicated character.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's not like Joker and that he's straight up a bad guy. He legit has his reasons, and even though he may resort sometimes to extreme ways of getting the job done. He actually is he can be a hero.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Favorite storyline or movie? Because I know Ladrino is well read in the comics as I am, so I figured I'd put the movie addendum in there too.
That's a thank you for balancing the playing field there.
Okay.
That's a good question because oh man, what is really good? I really like Days of Future Past. That one's probably like the really cool, like all the time travel and everything. But if I'm gonna say like just in terms of like a storyline, I think I preferred, the Apocalypse storyline, or from like the movie Age of Apocalypse, or just from maybe like the comic book where they have that type of storyline with like an original mutant, and then he comes back and how he like duplicates his powers by inhabiting other bodies and the Horsemen and the Apocalypse, and that's all really cool. And like seeing like just he's just on another power level than the mutants, Brotherhood of Mutants, or the X-Men.
My current favorite X-Men storyline. I have a few, and I get the feeling that as I read more, I'll find other favorites. But my current favorite is Second Coming. I was talking a lot about this. That's the one where Hope, Summers, and Cable arrive in our timeline, and it's after House of M. So like, there's only like 195 mutants left. They're all on this island known as Utopia, and basically the whole book is building toward this amazingly epic battle with the mutants versus the Nimrod robots. Now, Nimrods are like steroided out Sentinels. What I mean by that is that they're Sentinels, but way worse.
Really?
Think of Nimrods as the Sentinels from the Days of Future Past movie.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that there was another level of power.
I'm not sure if they're actually Sentinels, but I know they're like the, oh my God, it's a Nimrod level of threat. So it gets to the point where Hope is fighting this super Sentinel, and Hope's mutation is that she can imitate the powers of any mutant around her. So she's like, so when the Sentinel shoots her with energy, she deflects with energy armor from the mutant name. I believe her name is Armor or something like that. And then she freaking annihilates it with Cyclops' optic beams.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, this is so dope. Plus the art was fantastic. And I love is that there's a scene where Hope and Cable are driving down the road, and these two and these anti-mutant guys with guns are driving up behind them. They're like, okay, we're gonna sneak up behind them. We got them. We're gonna shoot them. There's no escaping. And then right before they can attack, the X-Men just plow into their vehicles.
Really?
It's like Wolverine. He goes in like this. Ah!
Oh man,
it was like so dope. So that's my favorite storyline. Favorite movie, I'm gonna have to go with Days of Future Past. I gotta go. That was just so cool. And I like how Days of Future Past establishes a different timeline. And the best part was at the end of Days of Future Past, spoiler alert, when the old actors from the original trilogy show up.
Yeah, that was really good.
I was like, oh,
that was really good.
It's like, yes.
Oh man, that was a really great movie.
I was not expecting that in the movie theater. I audibly went, "Oh my gosh, it's them!" All right, least favorite mutant or mutants. You can have two.
Oh, least favorite mutant.
All right,
I'll go. You go first.
Yeah, number one is Namor. Now you may be wondering why, because he's the most annoying character.
He's an X-Men?
Hey, he's a mutant. He's the first mutant.
Really? I didn't know he was a mutant.
They keep calling people the first mutant, so I lose track. They call Apocalypse the first mutant. So I'm like, make up your freaking mind, Marvel.
Right.
But yeah, he's a mutant. But
I didn't know that. I never knew that Namor was a mutant.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he was just like, one of like the fish people that had his own kingdom, like kind of like basically Aquaman and the Atlanteans. I had no idea that he was a mutant.
Well, remember, if Marvel has a moderately successful character that happens to be a mutant, they'll downplay the mutant part because they didn't have the rights to the X-Men.
That's true. That might be why I never really heard of it as the last couple of years.
That's why I know because I've been reading a crap ton of X-Men books and he's in all of them. The reason why I don't like him is because he's always going after other dudes' girls. Like he's always trying to get Emma Frost to leave Cyclops for no reason because he's like, I'm a king, you're a queen, you should be with a king, and he constantly pursues Sue Storm. So I'm like, and plus he's too cocky, too full of himself. He just really annoys me.
Yeah.
And number 2 is Jubilee from the but the
Jubilee?
cartoon Jubilee because she's just so annoying. She keeps
What?
getting to, I was like, okay, guys, come on. You could have just taken Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde. At least she has a useful power instead of just shooting sparkly things.
Yeah.
All right, lad, go.
So mine is easy pick, Archangel.
What?
Yes.
Have you ever seen that guy?
I've never really, I mean, because I never read the comic book, but just from the Apocalypse movie from X-Men Age of Apocalypse, he was the most annoying person ever. Like
that movie gave him a strong disservice.
He was like so annoying, stuck up, like everyone did it, like he was like, you were happy when he was defeated.
The comics.
I probably imagine
read the comics version,
like in the original X-Men movie, or in the comic book. But just from
in the original
one movie, I didn't like him.
In X-Men 3, he's in there for like 10 seconds.
Oh, really?
And by the way, in the comic books, he is a badass.
Really?
There's just one point where they're getting pinned down by Nimrods. Wolverine goes, "Okay, Warren, I need you to take these things down fast." And then Angel goes, "How fast?" And then Wolverine just looks at him. He's like, "Oh, that fast." Because what happens is Warren has the normal Angel wings, like in X-Men 3, but he also has a second, more deadly form, and that's what they were playing off with the sort of cyber wings that he throws at people. Except he is so much more badass in the comics.
Yeah, that does sound kind of interesting.
Yeah, so those are all least favorite mutants. All right, so that was the introduction. So now we're gonna go through a couple of lists that I found on various comic book sites. So we're gonna start with this list on Comic Book Review of the 10 story arcs every fan should read.
Yeah.
So, lad, can you see this?
Let's see. Yep. Here we go.
Number 10 is Schism. Do you know what happened in the storyline, lad?
No, I've never heard of it.
This is basically the X-Men Civil War.
Really?
So this story takes place during the Utopia era. What I mean by that is that's when they live on the island called Utopia era of the team, when the mutant race was at their lowest ebb, again lower. A new Hellfire Club rises its ugly head and forces Cyclops to make some hard choices. One's Wolverine doesn't agree with. Cyclops and Wolverine have always had a contentious relationship, but the story heats it up to a degree it's never been before. So, but basically what happens is that this is when Wolverine breaks off from the X-Men and forms his own school, the Jean Grey School for Mutants or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really an X-Men Civil War. All right, Uncanny X-Force, the Apocalypse Solution. Okay, so quick explanation. X-Force is basically the X-Men's like Black Ops team.
I see.
And they explain in the comics like they're the X-Men, except they kill.
They kill?
Yeah, they kill now. And they have some pretty dope storylines. This is where the Black Wolverine came from, and they kind of referenced X-Force in the Deadpool 2 movie.
I see.
So Psylocke, by Psylocke from Apocalypse, she's an X-Men.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's supposed to be an X-Men. Archangel, a Phantom X, who is a weird ass character, and Deadpool are part of the team. And again, they're basically the ones that like kill people. They're the X-Men team that are like covert and kill people.
I see.
The Brood Saga. All right, again, the Brood are basically the xenomorphs from Aliens. That's what they are.
The Brood.
And And what you may not know is that X-Men actually go into space quite a lot because the Brood are X-Men antagonists. So next we have astonishing X-Men exogenetic. So astonishing X-Men by writer Warren Ellis. She's the X-Men attacked by an entirely new type of Sentinel. That's what that is. One that uses the dead bodies of mutants as their basis. Oh wow, that is so it's basically a Reaper from Mass Effect.
Oh man.
Faced with this new threat, the X-Men have to scramble in a race against time, trying to find out how to stop this new Sentinel who's behind it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the X-Men 30, where we have Jean Grey and Cyclops get married, and then she later dies and becomes the Phoenix, and then you think everything's all good. Dark Phoenix.
Oh man.
Because what's interesting about Jean Grey is that when Stan Lee first wrote her, she was like the most useless X-Men character of all time.
Yeah. What was she called? Like, what's her superhero
Marvel
name?
Girl.
So when did she stop becoming Marvel Girl and now just called Jean?
All right. So whenever you hear about X-Men comic books, the one writer who 100% comes to mind is Chris Claremont. He's the one who defined like all the really well-known X-Men stories written by him. Days of Future Past, all the Phoenix stuff. So it happens that he took over, and within 4 issues, Phoenix Saga.
Really?
And at the end of his run, I think it's at the end of his run, Dark Phoenix Saga. So he actually he turned Jean Grey like into, let me put it this way. When Jean Grey died, Marvel wanted to keep her dead, but the fan demand for Jean Grey after the Phoenix Saga was so high, they had to bring her back.
Wow. That's interesting. Wow. So they kind of like brought her. So the Phoenix Force is her like a power within her, or that's something else that kind of like came and gave her strength?
This is where X-Men The Last Stand got it wrong. The Phoenix kind of got it right, but I think Dark Phoenix is more accurate. The Dark Phoenix movie is more accurate in this way. The Dark Phoenix is an actual entity.
Oh.
I believe it's a force that represents all chaos in the galaxy. I'm actually looking this up right now because I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
What is the Dark Phoenix? But anyway, it's not like it's only gone to Jean Grey, but it's most associated with Jean Grey, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Phoenix Force is... Oh, by the way, so when he was still married to her, Cyclops got into a telepathic affair with Emma Frost.
Oh.
In other words, he got with Emma Frost in his mind.
Interesting.
And then Jean Grey died, so Scott was like, "Hey Emma, we can actually hang out now."
Oh, man, horrible.
So let me see. I know it's really interesting. So anyway, I'm trying to actually find what the Dark Phoenix actually is. You guys can't, and then if you guys know, you can drop them in the comments. Who is the Dark Phoenix? All right. So anyway, so the Dark Phoenix, I believe it isn't. So Jean Grey's the host. The Phoenix Force is a manifestation of the cosmic force of life, creation, and destruction. All right. So there you go. All right. Next. So next storyline, House of X, Powers of 10. I ordered this. It's on its way. So what had happened for the longest time is that because Marvel did not own the movie rights to X-Men, they did not do anything with X-Men, the comics. In fact, they tried to replace the X-Men with the Inhumans.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was the Inhumans' whole purpose, to replace the X-Men. And guess what didn't happen?
Get replaced?
Yes, because the fans hated it. They saw right through it. Oh, we see what you're doing. You're trying to basically replace the Inhumans, the X-Men with the Inhumans. And then they did the storyline called Death of the Inhumans, which was intended to clean off the Inhumans so the X-Men could reign again.
That's funny.
So they went to Jonathan Hickman, and Hickman's one of those writers. He's known for like Secret War and actually Secret Wars from like 2015, I think, around that time period.
Mhm.
He's the one who created the Future Foundation for the Fantastic Four. So he had Avengers, Fantastic Four, Avengers, New Avengers, and then he went to X-Men. And for the last like 2 years, he's been doing X-Men, or at least running their X-Men storyline thing. And this storyline basically establishes why the X-Men are on like Krakoa, why like Apocalypse and Magneto are working with the X-Men and all that. It's a big storyline. It's really cool. So when it arrives, I'll do a storyline on it. Age of
Yeah, that sounds like
Apocalypse. Age of Apocalypse is one of those storylines that everyone hates.
really
Yeah.
in
Age
the
of Apocalypse-
comics.
Yeah, Age of Apocalypse takes place in an alternate timeline that was created when Xavier's son Legion went back in time to kill Magneto, but felled his father instead. Because of this divergence, Apocalypse was able to take over the United States, culling the human population and preparing to strike at the last remnants of humanity in Europe. Standing against him was the ragtag group of X-Men led by Magneto. So the movie only resembles this in that Apocalypse is involved.
So I didn't realize that the Age Apocalypse wasn't like a specific story. Maybe like there's another comic book where Apocalypse does something like that, where
Probably.
because that movie was awesome. Like how like they showed him like from the past and coming back to life now, and then he's like doing all his Four Horsemen stuff.
I'm sure there's a better comic that they based it off of. I find it hard to, because there is no like alternate timeline or anything like that in the movie. The movie was way better.
Yeah.
X-Men Mutant Genesis. This is the X-Men run that Jim Lee was involved in. In fact, that's where you get like these right here.
Mm-hmm.
That was Jim Lee's X-Men. So Chris Claremont and Jim Lee. It was a new beginning for the X-Men. Chris Claremont's last X-Men storyline until the year 2000. This book set up the team for its new status quo, including the blue iteration of the X-Men and pitting them against Magneto, along with his new servants, the Acolytes. All right, Claremont went out with a bang on this one, serving up every family. And this is also where they established like a lot of the team that you would see in the animated series.
Oh, okay.
New X-Men by Grant Morrison. Now, I have to be honest. Grant Morrison is one of those writers where you practically have to be high on acid in order to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be clear, I've never done drugs. I'm just giving the analogy everyone gives.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, geez.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll have like a storyline where someone punches God for no reason. They put it this way, he did Final Crisis, and I'm still trying to understand what that story is.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
But according to what I've heard, this is actually a really good storyline. So I may check this out. The number one, this is always the number one storyline in every X-Men list of top stories. The Dark Phoenix saga, which includes the first Phoenix story and then Dark Phoenix.
Oh, okay, so it was like Phoenix and then it was Dark Phoenix?
Yeah, colloquially, the X-Men refer to it as the Dark Phoenix saga, but it includes both the Phoenix saga and the Dark Phoenix, because really what you could do is you could read Phoenix, skip all the storyline that came in the middle and go to Dark Phoenix and you'll be fine.
I see.
Yeah, so that's one list. Now we're gonna go to the most powerful X-Men of all time. And I'm actually going to see if I agree with this. Elijah, we're more than welcome to join me in this. Sunspot. Sunspot's mutant abilities manifest as a child following altercation with a bully at a soccer game. He can transform into a figure that crackles darkness. I'm trying to think of was he in a movie, because I've never heard of this character.
No, I don't know.
He can survive without food or water and can use thermal updrafts to fly. All right. He is immune to all forms of heat. All right. That's good. Bishop is basically, I'm trying to think of how to think of Bishop. He's the other time traveling X-Men character, the other being Cable. Okay, so his powers allow him to absorb energy and use it to enhance his strength, heal, create concussive blasts, or remain invulnerable to damage. Yeah, that's pretty overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
they brought him into the animated series, and he's so good. Colossus. Oh yes.
Yeah.
And his sister Magic. Magic is his sister.
Wait, who's Magic? I feel like I've seen that before.
She's the blonde-haired girl from New Mutants.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His actual name is Peter Rasputin. Well, yeah, so his power is that he gets super strength, obviously, and his entire like body is covered in steel, which makes him pretty much invulnerable.
It'd be funny if like, you know, if this guy and Iron Man had a conversation together. It's just like, you know, like, so how's the metal skin? You know, it's like bonding moment.
Yeah, that's great. So he actually died once in the comics, and it was because there was this virus called the legacy virus. It's basically AIDS for mutants, and the X-Men developed an antivirus, but the only way to basically disperse it was, okay, so someone has to inject it in themselves, activate their mutant powers, and then die. That's the only way it gets released. So Colossus volunteered and did it. It wasn't until Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men run that he came back to life, and I have that comic. It's so good because Shadowcat is running through a facility. Some guys shoot at her. The bullet goes through her because she phases. It goes into this dark corridor, and all you hear is a plink as it deflects off Colossus. He just runs through her and just beats the crap out of these guards.
Yeah.
Next, Elixir. Elixir's is biological manipulation. The ability allows him to control the biological structure of his and others' bodies down to the genetic level. Ooh. He can regrow major organs and eventually learn to resurrect the dead. Yeah, that's overpowered.
Yeah.
That is very overpowered. Cyclops. Yes, that he is very overpowered. He can also withstand the attack of telepaths because his mentor and his two girlfriends were telepaths.
Interesting. Like, so it's like he has laser power. I mean, like, I feel like, I guess it's really useful. Like, maybe I feel like I underestimate laser powers a little bit. Like,
I mean, it's not exactly lasers because I believe the way it works that his eyes are actually portals to another dimension that blast energy.
Okay, yeah, I think you mentioned that before. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's the origin. If not, I'm gonna look a little like an idiot, but whatever. I'll look it up. But I'm pretty sure that that's the explanation for the eye laser thing.
I see.
Angel and Archangel, lad.
All right.
That's his badass form.
Yeah.
So he went by the name Avenging Angel, and then although Angel is known for his 16-foot wings, he's got super strength, stamina, and durability. After being manipulated by Apocalypse, Warren goes by the name Archangel. He gains a regenerative healing factor, hypersonic sonic scream capable of causing internal bleeding, new wings that allow him to fly at Mach 1. In addition to his increased speed, these wings have razor-sharp edges that carry potent neurotoxin capable of paralyzing anyone who touches them. Yeah, I'd say he's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Psylocke. And yeah, again, she is supposed to be an X-Men.
He's a good guy?
Not a Horseman of Apocalypse.
I mean, they kind of made it seem like at the end that she could turn good or that she wasn't like completely evil, you know? She's
possessing incredible ninja skills and the ability to create psionic and telekinetic weapons. Psylocke is one of the coolest X-Men to join the team. In addition to these incredible skills, Psylocke can teleport, create force fields, disrupt opponents' nervous systems with her psionic blades, and fire energy blasts like she's Vegeta from Dragon Ball. After a Jean Grey from an alternate universe unlocks her full mutant potential, Psylocke reaches Omega level status. As the result, she can handle herself against the strongest baddies. Omega level is like the strongest you can be as a mutant.
Really?
Havoc was from First Class, so he's the brother of Cyclops. He's capable of absorbing ambient cosmic energy and converting into plasma. Using the stored energy, he learns to fly by directing the plasma downwards, similar to Iron Man's first suit. Wolverine. Oh, yeah. If there's any overpowered X-Men, it's Wolverine.
Yeah.
He survived having, I mean, his arm regenerated after getting bitten off by the Hulk.
Yeah, it's OP.
Plus, he's got like adamantium claws. He's got enhanced senses. Yeah, this dude is real. Plus, he's been around since the 1800s. Kid Omega. Who is Kid Omega? Fans were first introduced to this character in New X-Men 134. He would join the Xavier Institute shortly after rebuild from the war Genosha. Quiz abilities caught the attention of Professor X. He's a powerful telepath capable of telepathic manipulation, tracking, cloaking, silent blast, mind control, and illusions. But that's not all. He's also telekinesis, and his psychic intelligence allows him to organize and construct his thoughts at accelerated rates. Okay, so it's pretty dope. All right, so let's see what else. Polaris. Polaris is Magneto's other daughter.
What? Magneto has other kids?
Daughter. Yeah. His kids are Polaris, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver.
I didn't know he had a third kid.
Polaris is the daughter of Magneto. However, neither she or Magneto are aware of this relation. This may be an old list, as Polaris's mother kept it secret from them. After being discovered by Cerebro, Professor Xavier sends Iceman to bring Polaris to the Institute. Polaris has the ability, like her father, of controlling metal. She can create magnetic force fields, flight, electromagnetic sight, energy absorption, and negative emotion absorption. Much like her father, these abilities, she's incredibly powerful. Vulcan. Vulcan is the other brother of Cyclops. So he's no Omega level, and he's capable of producing light, heat, and electricity by channeling it into a blast. As he becomes more powerful, he learns how to control his energy, producing force fields and lift and move objects. Yeah, that's pretty badass. Rogue. All right. Rogue was severely downplayed in the X-Men movies.
You think?
Oh, yes. Because what happens is that, so when she touches Captain Marvel, she permanently gets her flight and super strength. And so again, she touches people, but there's this shot, and I'm actually going to pull it up from Second Coming, because they need to like escort. Hang on, they need someone to escort Hope. I got a lot of stuff falling over. It's from my mutant ability of telekinesis.
Oh.
All right, that's what I was saying. So in Second Coming, they need an escort to get Hope to the Utopia Island, and so Rogue and Nightcrawler decide, okay, so we're gonna go. So, but the X-Men team were like, you're gonna need a lot of firepower for Nimrod's coming out to you. So what the X-Men team does, I'm trying to find this page because it is so cool. It's one of those pages where I read it twice because I was like, oh, this is so dope. All right, hang on, it's coming. So what Rogue does is she absorbs the powers of like 5 mutants.
Oh.
And completely like looks amazing. This is Rogue.
Yeah, that seems cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. Dope. All right, next. So she can absorb the powers of anyone. Magic, which is the sister of Colossus. So her mutant ability is teleportation, which she controls through what are called stepping discs. These discs allow herself and others to teleport across interstellar distances, travel through time, or even traverse dimensions. While in the limbo dimension, she learns the sorcerer's arts. These include astral projection, metamorphosis, necromancy, force fields, possession, and creation of magical constructs. If that's not enough, she knows both black and white magic, and has a partial demon soul that grants her psionic shielding. She also has like a badass sword. Yeah, her soul sword, and that's what she uses in the movie. All right, Emma Frost. Yes, my lady. She started off as the evil White Queen of the Hellfire Club, but she but she is like she's a leading member of the X-Men.
Mhm.
So she has two powers. She has telepathy, but she also has the ability to turn her skin as hard as diamonds. We saw this in the movie and the comics and everything. The drawback is that when she's in her diamond form, her like telepathic powers are weakened and or like nullified.
Mhm.
However, she is like ridiculously strong while in her diamond form.
Yeah.
She can also control the mind and the minds and bodies of others. She's also able to rewrite the neural pathways of other mutants to boost their powers. Yep, she's pretty powerful. Iceman, it's your boy Iceman.
Iceman.
So he's classified as Omega level because he can do anything with ice.
Mhm.
Anything with ice, or actually, he can transform every molecule in his body into any state of water.
The Wonder Twins want to know your location. Iceman.
Form of a bath water.
Yeah.
So he can pretty much control water, pretty much. Storm. Storm can control the freaking weather.
That Storm is powerful, yeah.
I believe she's actually known as like the most powerful X-Men.
Mhm.
There's actually someone named X-Man who is Nate Gray, is the biological result of combining DNA of Cyclops and Jean Grey. He's genetically engineered during the Age of Apocalypse by Mrs. Sinister. Nate was meant to be the greatest telepath and telekinetic mutant. However, he betrays his creator in helping the X-Men bring an end to the Apocalypse timeline. Nate is constantly striving to control and expand his powers. However, X-Man's powers make him a target. Multiple factions have tried to use his powers. All right. Hope Summers. Yes.
Yeah.
She was the first mutant born after M Day, which is the day that 91.4% of the world's mutant population lost their powers. While still a child, mutants like Bishop wanted her dead, believing that she would bring about the destruction of humanity. So Cable saves her and takes her to the future to like train her. So much like Rogue, she has the power to basically, if there's a mutant around her, she will imitate those powers. And that's again how she has the armor and the badass optic beams. Now, she also has a connection to the Phoenix Force. And I believe she becomes the host of the Phoenix at the end of AVX.
Oh, okay. So it can move around.
However, she doesn't have to touch people, and she doesn't have to experience any sort of power loss themselves. However, once she absorbs the power, she has it permanently. Permanently has those powers.
That's so. Can she keep absorbing multiple powers, or is it like
so she can pretty much be like all powerful?
Yeah.
All right, Cable. We know him. He's basically he shares a striking resemblance to Thanos in the movies. I don't understand it. It's amazing. So he's a cyborg like character, and he's a badass soldier. His arm gauntlet has rockets which give him super strength. He has a cybernetic eye that lets him see in infrared, and he has an optic laser. So he's basically like Cyclops. And then so what's interesting is that he's actually suffering from a techno-organic virus that's basically all the machine parts trying to take over. And this came to a head in Second Coming, where he has to bring the X-Force to a portal that only allows like a robot to get through. So he has to allow the virus to take over him.
That's kind of scary.
At full potential, he could lift a city into orbit. Okay. Magneto. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead, lad.
No, that's good. Yeah. I mean, I was just remembering like he's from the future and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Magneto controls anything that's made of metal.
He's a pushover. He can be defeated easily.
Legion. They made a show about him. Legion is the son of Professor Xavier and he has like all of these different like personalities in his head, hence is why he's called Legion. But and then he can tap into them at any time and get their powers.
Mhm.
Professor X. Yeah, I'll take that
Yep.
as an overpowered character. He can freeze people with his mind.
I feel like he is like insanely OP. Like sometimes they don't show like the extent of his powers, but he's got to be the most powerful psychic, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I would say he's the most powerful psychic. Franklin Richards. He's a mutant. Although
Really?
they kind of on retcon this recently, so this is kind of an old list.
Mhm.
But yeah, this kid is ridiculously powerful to the point where he can create his own universes. And there's a theory,
Right. Yeah, I remember that now.
there's a theory that the reason why none of the Marvel heroes ever age is because he basically keeps all the heroes he likes young.
It's insane.
And then number one, and I would put this particular individual as number one, is the Phoenix.
Interesting. So not like Jean Grey, but specifically just the Phoenix character itself.
Yeah. So when she's just the Phoenix, I think she's good. But when she goes Dark Phoenix, like this way, the last time she became Dark Phoenix, she devoured an entire star along with a planet.
Man.
Because she needs the energy. Yeah, this particular individual is like I would put higher than Omega. She can open wormholes that allow her to travel through the universe faster than light. She can hypnotize others, fly, create force fields, powerful concussive blast. Let me put it this way: I play Marvel Future Fight. Whenever you play as any of the Phoenix characters, like any of the Phoenix 5 from AVX, which are like the X-Men that got Phoenix powers, or Jean Grey, you are pretty much like unbeatable.
Yeah.
So that's that list. All right, so that's our list. Whew.
It's good to get
Your
a,
guys are actually super powerful, lad.
I know, yeah, it's good to get a breakdown on, all these different powerful characters. I didn't know about some of these characters actually.
Yeah. I was thinking, okay, so Franklin Richards, Dan Slott retconned that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he made so he was not a mutant, but still, I expected like Wolverine to be a little lower on the list, though.
Uh-huh.
There were a few of them where I was like, he should be a little lower.
Yeah.
But I get why Jean Grey / Phoenix is the most powerful, is the most like overpowered on this list. Because yeah, from what I read, yeah, the Dark Phoenix is super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's gonna end this episode of the show. So these are gonna be like we'll try and do them every Wednesday. They'll be up. Then what we plan on doing is we're going to talk about the different X-Men storylines. We'll do character studies. We'll do movie discussions. Basically, anything you can think of that would be associated with the X-Men, we're going to do. We'll talk about the Deadpool movies, talk about Deadpool in general, because he's kind of vacillating between mutant and non-mutant, depending on if Disney wants to call him a mutant. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, lad. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, no, fun time. Yeah, went through some good topics. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good sign off. All right, I'll just leave it at this: mutant and proud.